Here are 150 sentences related to the brain. 1. The brain is the control center of the body. 2. It processes sensory information from the environment. 3. Neurons are the building blocks of the brain. 4. The brain weighs about 3 pounds in adults. 5. It consists of over 86 billion neurons. 6. The cerebral cortex is responsible for higher brain functions. 7. The brain is divided into two hemispheres, the left and the right. 8. The left hemisphere controls the right side of the body. 9. The right hemisphere controls the left side of the body. 10. The brain communicates with the body through the spinal cord. 11. Memory is stored and processed in the hippocampus. 12. The amygdala is involved in processing emotions. 13. The brain's frontal lobe is responsible for decision-making. 14. The occipital lobe processes visual information. 15. The temporal lobe is involved in hearing and language processing. 16. The parietal lobe handles sensory information such as touch. 17. The brain can form new neural connections throughout life. 18. Neuroplasticity refers to the brain's ability to change and adapt. 19. The brain uses around 20% of the body's energy. 20. The blood-brain barrier protects the brain from harmful substances. 21. The brain generates electrical impulses known as brain waves. 22. Alpha waves are associated with relaxation and calm. 23. Beta waves are linked to active thinking and focus. 24. Theta waves occur during deep relaxation and light sleep. 25. Delta waves are present during deep sleep. 26. The brain communicates via neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. 27. Dopamine plays a key role in motivation and pleasure. 28. Serotonin helps regulate mood, appetite, and sleep. 29. Glutamate is the most abundant excitatory neurotransmitter in the brain. 30. GABA is the brain's primary inhibitory neurotransmitter. 31. The brain's reward system encourages behavior by releasing dopamine. 32. The prefrontal cortex is involved in executive functions like planning. 33. The brain processes emotions in the limbic system. 34. The hypothalamus controls hunger, thirst, and temperature regulation. 35. The brain has a protective membrane called the meninges. 36. The blood-brain barrier limits the passage of toxins into the brain. 37. Brain damage can result from trauma or disease. 38. Stroke occurs when the blood supply to part of the brain is interrupted. 39. Brain cells, or neurons, can send signals over long distances. 40. The brain is highly energy efficient despite its size. 41. Brain functions can be impaired by lack of sleep. 42. Neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's affect brain function. 43. The brain requires a constant supply of oxygen to function properly. 44. The brain can be trained to improve cognitive abilities. 45. Meditation can change the structure and function of the brain. 46. Exercise improves brain health by increasing blood flow. 47. Proper nutrition is essential for brain function. 48. Omega-3 fatty acids are important for brain health. 49. Brain scans like MRIs and CT scans help diagnose brain conditions. 50. The brain's plasticity decreases with age but doesn't stop. 51. The brain is capable of learning new skills at any age. 52. The brain processes information much faster than a computer. 53. Emotions can influence cognitive processes in the brain. 54. The size of the hippocampus can be affected by stress. 55. A healthy diet can enhance brain function and memory. 56. The brain can perform multiple tasks simultaneously, though not always efficiently. 57. Learning new languages can improve brain connectivity. 58. Brain fog is a condition where cognitive functions feel impaired. 59. The brain is constantly rewiring itself through experience. 60. The visual cortex in the brain interprets signals from the eyes. 61. The auditory cortex processes sounds received from the ears. 62. The cerebellum coordinates movement and balance. 63. The brain operates through a network of intricate neural pathways. 64. Brain waves can be measured using an electroencephalogram, EEG. 65. Stress can shrink the hippocampus and impair memory. 66. The brain's reward system can lead to addiction when overstimulated. 67. Mental health issues like depression are linked to brain chemistry imbalances. 68. The brain's gray matter is involved in processing information. 69. White matter helps transmit signals between different brain areas. 70. The brain can adapt to injury through rehabilitation techniques. 71. Emotional experiences can shape brain development and function. 72. The brain's ability to adapt is key to learning and memory. 73. The thalamus acts as a relay station for sensory information. 74. Damage to the brain's frontal lobe can affect personality and decision-making. 75. Neurotransmitter imbalances can lead to conditions like schizophrenia. 76. The brain communicates with the body through the autonomic nervous system. 77. Brain functions are closely linked to overall physical health. 78. Sleep is essential for memory consolidation in the brain. 79. Dreams occur when the brain is processing emotions and memories during sleep. 80. Chronic sleep deprivation can harm brain function and increase disease risk. 81. The brain can prioritize certain tasks depending on their importance. 82. Trauma can alter brain chemistry, leading to long-term effects. 83. Cognitive biases can shape how the brain processes information. 84. The brain processes language primarily in areas like Broca's and Wernicke's areas. 85. Brain injuries can lead to lasting cognitive and emotional changes. 86. Memory is a complex process involving encoding, storing, and retrieving information. 87. The brain uses both short-term and long-term memory systems. 88. A traumatic brain injury (TBI) can have wide-ranging effects on cognition. 89. Aging can affect brain function, leading to conditions like dementia. 90. The process of learning involves creating new neural connections in the brain. 91. Synapses are the junctions where neurons communicate with each other. 92. Neurogenesis is the process by which new neurons are formed in the brain. 93. Music can stimulate brain areas associated with emotion and memory. 94. Art therapy has been shown to promote brain health and healing. 95. Brain research is helping scientists understand the complexities of human consciousness. 96. The brain processes emotional stimuli more quickly than cognitive stimuli. 97. Physical activity can boost the production of neurotrophic factors in the brain. 98. The brain's plasticity allows it to recover from damage through therapy. 99. The default mode network is active when the brain is at rest or daydreaming. 100. Cognitive decline is a natural part of aging, but lifestyle choices can slow it. 101. The brain's reward system involves structures like the nucleus accumbens. 102. Multitasking can reduce efficiency because the brain has to switch between tasks. 103. The brain has distinct areas that specialize in different functions. 104. The occipital lobe processes light, shapes, and colors from visual stimuli. 105. Emotions are often processed faster than rational thought in the brain. 106. Neurofeedback uses real-time brain activity to train the brain to function more efficiently. 107. The brain can process both conscious and unconscious information simultaneously. 108. Cognitive therapy can change how the brain processes emotions and thoughts. 109. The brain can rewire itself after experiencing trauma or stress. 110. Memory recall involves reactivating neural networks that stored the information. 111. Brain plasticity is strongest during childhood but continues into adulthood. 112. Chronic stress can damage the hippocampus, impairing memory. 113. Research suggests that mindfulness meditation can increase brain matter in certain regions. 114. Exercise has been shown to improve brain function and promote neurogenesis. 115. Brain injuries can lead to cognitive deficits, including problems with attention and memory. 116. Neurotransmitters affect mood, behavior, and cognitive function in the brain. 117. The brain is capable of understanding complex mathematical concepts. 118. Alcohol can impair brain function by affecting neurotransmitter systems. 119. The brain relies on both short-term and long-term memory systems for effective learning. 120. The hippocampus plays a key role in forming new memories. 121. Brainwaves are categorized into different frequencies based on activity levels. 122. Sleep deprivation affects cognitive performance and decision-making abilities. 123. Brain plasticity allows recovery from injuries and relearning of skills. 124. The brain processes faces in a specialized region known as the fusiform face area. 125. Chronic drug use can alter brain chemistry and lead to addiction. 126. The brain is highly sensitive to environmental factors such as stress and toxins. 127. Research on the brain has led to advancements in treating mental health disorders. 128. Brain development continues into early adulthood. 129. The prefrontal cortex helps regulate emotions and control impulses. 130. The visual cortex receives and interprets visual input from the eyes. 131. Creativity is associated with complex interactions in the brain's frontal and temporal lobes. 132. The brain processes language in areas like Broca's area and Wernicke's area. 133. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter involved in the brain's reward system. 134. The brain's ability to learn new things declines with age, but neuroplasticity still occurs. 135. Cognitive neuroscience studies the neural basis of mental processes. 136. The amygdala is involved in emotional responses, particularly fear. 137. The brain is capable of storing vast amounts of information, though it has limitations. 138. Brain scans can reveal activity levels in different brain regions during cognitive tasks. 139. Chronic anxiety can physically change brain structure, particularly in areas related to fear. 140. The brain integrates sensory information to form perceptions of the world. 141. Depression has been linked to reduced activity in certain brain regions, such as the prefrontal cortex. 142. Hormones like cortisol influence brain function, especially in response to stress. 143. The brain's default mode network is active when a person is at rest or not focused on the outside. Here are 140 sentences expressing confidence in God. 1. I trust in God's perfect timing for my life. 2. God's plan for me is greater than my own understanding. 3. Even in the storm, I believe God is in control. 4. God's love for me is unshakable, and I rest in that truth. 5. When I am weak, God's strength sustains me. 6. I am never alone because God is always with me. 7. God's faithfulness is a constant in my life. 8. I have confidence that God will provide for all my needs. 9. God's grace is more than enough to cover my shortcomings. 10. In every trial, I know God is working all things for my good. 11. God's peace guards my heart and mind in every circumstance. 12. I place my hope and trust in God, knowing He is trustworthy. 13. With God on my side, I am more than a conqueror. 14. I am confident that God is always guiding my steps. 15. God's wisdom is beyond measure, and I trust in His guidance. 16. I know that nothing is impossible for God. 17. I trust God's timing, even when I can't see the full picture. 18. I believe that God has a purpose for every season of my life. 19. God is my refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. 20. I place my confidence in God, not in my own abilities. 21. God's promises are yes and amen, and I stand firm on them. 22. I know that God will never leave me nor forsake me. 23. I trust that God will lead me through every challenge I face. 24. I believe that God's plan for me is filled with hope and a future. 25. God is faithful to complete the good work He started in me. 26. I place my trust in God because He knows what's best for me. 27. I know that God is greater than any fear or worry I may face. 28. God's love is perfect, casting out all fear in my heart. 29. I trust that God will open doors no one can shut. 30. I have confidence that God will give me the strength to persevere. 31. God's provision is never lacking, He gives abundantly. 32. I trust in God's sovereignty, knowing He reigns over all. 33. I rest in the assurance that God has already overcome the world. 34. I believe in the power of prayer and that God hears every word. 35. God is my shepherd, I lack nothing. 36. I have full confidence that God is working on my behalf. 37. God's promises never fail, He is always faithful to fulfill them. 38. I trust in God's perfect will for my life. 39. I believe that God is using my struggles to refine me. 40. I know that God is near, even in my moments of doubt. 41. I am confident that God will heal every broken part of my heart. 42. I trust that God is greater than any obstacle I face. 43. God is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. 44. I am confident that God is always working behind the scenes. 45. I trust that God will provide for me in ways I can't even imagine. 46. I know that God is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all I ask or think. 47. I rest in the certainty that God's will is always for my good. 48. I trust that God is molding me into the person He created me to be. 49. I know that God has a good plan for my future. 50. I am confident that God will restore all that I have lost. 51. God is my provider, I trust that He will meet all my needs. 52. I have faith that God will make a way when there seems to be no way. 53. I believe that God can turn every trial into a testimony. 54. I trust in God's ability to do the impossible in my life. 55. I know that God's love for me is constant and unwavering. 56. I have confidence that God will never let me go. 57. I trust God to lead me to the right people and opportunities. 58. I know that God will equip me for everything He calls me to do. 59. I have peace knowing that God is always in control of my life. 60. I trust that God's grace is sufficient for me in every circumstance. 61. I am confident that God is working in ways I cannot yet see. 62. I trust that God will give me peace that surpasses all understanding. 63. I believe that God will never fail me or let me down. 64. I have confidence that God will keep me safe in His care. 65. I trust that God will heal every area of my life that needs restoration. 66. I believe that God has already gone before me and prepared the way. 67. I trust that God's hand of protection is always upon me. 68. I have full confidence that God will fulfill every promise He has made. 69. I believe that nothing can separate me from God's love. 70. I trust in God's wisdom, even when I don't understand His ways. 71. I have confidence that God's plans for me are always good. 72. I trust that God will give me the strength to face whatever comes my way. 73. I believe that God can make all things new in my life. 74. I know that God is with me in every season, whether good or bad. 75. I trust in God's ability to heal my mind, body, and soul. 76. I have confidence that God's grace will carry me through every trial. 77. I trust in the promises of God, for they are true and reliable. 78. I am confident that God's love will never fail me. 79. I trust that God will give me the courage to face my fears. 80. I believe that God will bless me with all I need to fulfill His calling. 81. I know that God is my strength and my song. 82. I trust in God's perfect will for my life, even when it's not easy. 83. I have confidence that God will answer my prayers in His perfect time. 84. I believe that God is doing a work in me that will last for eternity. 85. I trust that God will guide me in every decision I make. 86. I have confidence that God will help me overcome every obstacle. 87. I trust in God's ability to bring beauty out of the ashes. 88. I know that God's love never changes, no matter what happens in my life. 89. I am confident that God will bless me with peace and joy. 90. I trust that God will lead me on the path of righteousness. 91. I believe that God has already prepared the way for me. 92. I trust in God's faithfulness, even when I don't see immediate results. 93. I have confidence that God is using my current situation for a greater purpose. 94. I know that God is with me, and that gives me courage. 95. I trust that God is capable of turning my setbacks into comebacks. 96. I am confident that God will help me grow through every challenge. 97. I believe that God will never let me face anything I cannot overcome with Him. 98. I trust that God will always lead me in the way that is best for me. 99. I am confident that God's love and grace are more than enough. 100. I trust in God's promises to never fail or forsake me. 101. I believe that God has equipped me with everything I need to succeed. 102. I know that God is working all things together for my good. 103. I trust that God will give me peace in the midst of uncertainty. 104. I am confident that God's timing is perfect in all things. 105. I trust that God's presence will sustain me through every trial. 106. I believe that God has already prepared a way for me to succeed. 107. I trust that God will guide me step by step, as I follow Him. 108. I have confidence that God will grant me victory in every battle. 109. I trust that God will give me the strength to endure until the end. 110. I know that God is my provider, and I will lack nothing. 111. I trust that God will lead me to a future filled with hope and purpose. 112. I believe that God will never give me more than I can bear. 113. I have confidence that God will fight my battles for me. 114. I trust that God will fill my life with His love and peace. 115. I know that God is able to do more than I can ask or imagine. 116. I trust that God's grace will always be sufficient for me. 117. I believe that God will make all things work together for good. 118. I have confidence that God will restore what has been broken in my life. 119. I trust that God's hand is always at work in my life, even when I can't see it. 120. I know that God is always working on my behalf, even in the unseen. 121. I trust that God will equip me with everything I need to fulfill His calling. 122. I have confidence that God's love will carry me through every trial. 123. I trust in God's ability to make a way where there seems to be no way. 124. I know that God's plan for me is filled with good things. 125. I trust that God is my source of strength and my shield. 126. I believe that God will give me the courage to face whatever challenges come. 127. I trust that God's presence will bring me peace in every situation. 128. I have confidence that God is working behind the scenes in my life.